Hi, this is Dr. Mark Burkey with BurkeyAcademy, and in this video I'm going to show you the right way to do the calculations if you're considering refinancing a mortgage. Now I'm doing this because every time I talk to someone who is trying to make this decision, even if I'm talking to people who work for banks, they do it the wrong way, and I find this an unnecessary mistake. First I'm going to show you the wrong way, and then I'll show you the right way. Now, suppose that the principal, the amount you owe on your house is $260,000, for example, and you're trying to decide whether to refinance a mortgage to a lower rate. Suppose your current rate is 3.75%. It could be anything. Let's just say 3.75%. And the new rate would be 2.75%. Now, on the cost side, generally you're going to have to pay some costs that usually involve some percentage of the loan amount. So it might be 1% of the loan amount that you have to pay, which would be $2,600. You also might have to pay some lawyer's fees, some title fees, get a new appraisal, etc. Make sure you carefully know what all those fees are. Don't just get a ballpark figure, write them all down so that you know carefully what that figure is. Just suppose for the sake of argument that it's $3,000 or $4,000, okay? The cost side is easy to get a handle on. I'm going to focus on the benefit side. What is the true benefit from refinancing? So let's do it the wrong way first. The wrong way, and this is what people in banks do all the time, I've refinanced several times, they always say, okay, look, well, let's look at your current payment. Let's look at how to calculate this payment. I'm in Excel here. Let me show you how the formula works to calculate the payment for a mortgage in Excel. You type equals PMT for payment. And then the first thing it wants is the rate, and that's this 3.75%, but you have to adjust the rate because you don't pay, this is a yearly rate, 3.75%, and what you need is a monthly rate. So what you want to do is put the monthly rate in here, which is going to be this percentage, 3.75% divided by 12. So we can click here, cell B3 is what this is, divided by 12. That's our rate as a monthly rate. So you take the yearly rate divided by 12, comma. It wants the number of periods. So how many payments are there going to be between now and the time you pay off the mortgage? So the number of periods, if you were refinancing for 30 years, would be 30 times 12, or 360 payments. What I'm going to do is work with my bank to keep the number of payments remaining the same. I don't want to extend the life of my mortgage to 30 years from today because I've already had a 30-year mortgage for 6 years now. So what I want to do is just refinance it over 24 years. I don't want to make it any longer. So current payment, let's say, might be 24 years times 12 equals 288 payments. So that's what I'm going to put here, 288 payments. And then the next thing they want in the formula is PV, present value. And that's simply the amount of money that I owe, 260,000. So I'll put a comma and then click here for $260,000. And that's all we need to calculate a payment of a house in Excel. Let me hit enter. Now the payment, the way Excel calculates it, it's always a negative number. I'm not quite sure why they think this is interesting, but they always make it a negative number. So it's red and in parentheses here. So the current payment would be $1,370.48. And that doesn't include the insurance and the taxes that my bank also pays. But that's not important because my insurance and my taxes aren't going to change. We don't need to focus on that. So that's the old payment. Let's calculate the new payment. Well, I'm just going to copy that over here. Well, actually, let's copy it over here. That's going to give us an error, but then we'll have to edit it. So I'll copy it over there, hit F2. The problem we have here, it moved it changed from looking at this 3.75 interest rate to this 2.75, just like what we wanted, but I don't have the principal amount of $260,000 up here. So let me just, I'll copy that and paste it over here, and it updated the formula for us. Great. Here's where the wrong calculation is. The wrong calculation is to say, well, if I refinance my mortgage, then what's going to happen is my payment will go down. My payment's going to change from, let's see, well, let me put this over here, equals that amount minus this amount. The difference in the payment is $136.25. Therefore, the logic goes, this is wrong, the logic goes that if that's the amount I'm saving per month, $136, then multiply that times 12. Let me make that a little wider so maybe we can see that number. Then I'm going to be saving $1,635 per year from my payment being lower. And suppose the amount that I was going to have to pay to refinance this is, say, $3,000. Then how long will it take me to break even? Equals, well, $3,000 is how much it cost me, divided by, that's how much per year I'm going to be saving on my payment. Should not be in dollars. This should just be 1.83 years. So let me just retype that, 1.83 years to break even, to recover your money. That's the right way of thinking about it, but the calculation that's been done here is wrong. Now, what's wrong about this? Well, if you just compare your current payment to what your new payment would be, and you look at the difference, you think that what you're saving is $136 a month. That's wrong. Now, your payment is $136 lower, but that's not how much you're really saving if you look at it properly. Now, how can we tell the difference? Let's do this the right way. The right way is to say that currently I'm paying 3.75% interest per year on a loan of $260,000. Let's calculate how much interest per month that is, because that's really the important part. In interest, we can calculate let me label it over here. Interest per month is going to be equals, let me say parentheses here, 3.75 divided by 12, that gives me the monthly interest rate, times $260,000. I'm paying $812.50 per month in interest to the bank, okay? Currently with a 3.75% rate. Now, if I lower my rate to 2.75%, let's calculate that again. Now it is equals 2.75 over 12 times 260,000. All right, how wide do I have to make this to where we can see it? $595.83 per month. Now, in our payment, remember our payment is going down $136.25, but the amount of interest that we are paying to the bank, this is really what our bill is for our mortgage. It's really the interest. Everything that you pay above the interest is yours. You keep that money. You're paying down the balance of your mortgage with that extra money. So the real bill that you should care about is just the interest, if you're really thinking about this the right way. How much is our interest going to go down? How much is our bill going to go down? Well, let's calculate the difference. 812 minus 595 equals $216.67 is the savings per month in interest. Why is it that if our bill goes down only $136, how is it that our interest is going down more than that? A lot more than that, $216 per month. Well, let me show you why and what's going on here. When you look at this amount that you're paying, $1,370.48 a month, let's break that payment down into the two parts. How much is going to pay principal and how much is going to pay interest? Well, if we take the $1,370, remember, is our payment. This is the amount we pay in interest every month currently. Let's look at the difference. So part of it is interest. Let's just split it out. $812.50. That's the interest. And this is the amount that goes to pay principal. It's the difference. So equals, since this is a negative number, let me add it. So that plus the negative number will show us the difference. So under the current scheme, you're paying $1,370 out of pocket. $812 is going to interest. $558 you keep because that's going to pay down the amount you owe. So that's not, I don't consider this amount a bill, the $558. That's money that I can get back when I sell the house. Now let's do the same thing under this new payment. The payment is only $136 less, but look at what happens when we break this into the two parts. There's the interest, so $595.83 is the interest. In the new situation, how much are we paying down in principal? Well, equals, see how much is left. When you lower your payment due to a lowered interest rate, two things happen. Number one, your payment goes down by $136, but the second thing that happens is that the amount of principal you're paying goes up. So you're saving $216 in interest that you're paying, so the remainder, so you're asking yourself, why does my payment not go down by $216? If that's how much the interest goes down, the answer is the amount you're paying down in principal goes up. And it goes up not quite $100, but it goes up a lot. Let's look at that difference there. Let's see. $80. So there are two benefits to reducing your interest rate. First, the amount of money out of pocket goes down, which is good if you need that money to do something else with. But the two parts here that you should look at, it's not just the part that everybody I've ever talked to focuses on. I'm sorry, you can't see that part because it's off screen. Let me move that a little bit. This part, the $136.25 that your payment goes down, that's great. But there's a second benefit that's $80 that, it's about the same magnitude. I mean, they're both around $100. This is a little less, that's a little more than $100. But the second benefit, and this is the one that nobody talks about, is now every month you're paying off your debt faster. Your principal goes down faster. So whenever I look at, and by the way, these two numbers, the 136 plus the 80, add up to the 216. So this right here is really, if you want to get down to it, the 216.67, how much your interest goes down is really the computation that you should focus on, not just the 136. So using the 136 number, it looked like it would take almost 2 years for you to break even on a $3,000 fee to refinance. If you use this number, which is the true number, the 136 plus the 80, how long is it going to take you to break even? Well, let's calculate that. Equals $3,000 divided by the 216.67. Sorry, I've done something wrong here. What if oh, sorry, dude. This is in months. Sorry. So, and again, it's not dollars. It should be months. It should be $3,000 divided by that times 12 if we're going to do the same computation we did before. Because remember, we multiplied this number by 12 to get the $1,600 in savings per year. We could do the same thing here. We could multiply the 216. Let's do that instead of talking about it. Let's multiply that equals. Hopefully I've convinced you that the 216 number is the right number to look at. So we're really saving $2,600 per year by refinancing, not $1,600, $2,600. That's a huge difference when you don't calculate it the right way. And so now how many years is that going to take to refinance? Equals $3,000 divided by 2,600, 1.15 years, not 1.83 years. So it'll take you just over a year to make that money back. Now the money's not all going to be in your pocket, but it's going to be in your assets. And money in your assets is actually better than money in your pocket if you think about things the right way. Money in your pocket burns a hole in your pocket. This extra $80 in paying down the principal, that's a long-term investment you're making in paying down your house. So hopefully I've convinced you that this is the better way to do it. And it's actually very simple. It's actually much simpler than all the math that I've done here. If you really just want to know how much money am I saving, let me summarize here. If you really want to know how much you're saving here by refinancing your house, here's the simple way. How much am I going to save per year? To get a rough idea, all you have to do is say, well, if I'm going to save 1%, all right, there's 1%. Take that, divide it by 12. Take the 1% divided by 12. That's 0.0008333, right? Take that number, multiply it times your balance, equals that times that. And what number do we get? The $216.67, right? That's how much per month. Multiply that by 12, and that's a rough idea of how much money you'll be saving per year. Now, that being said, I just have to say one more thing, that as your balance goes down, right, each month, well, let's just look at the first month. In the first month, if you refinance, your principal will go down $638. So now you're not going to owe the bank $260,000 anymore. You're going to owe the bank $259,362 roughly, right? And so then the next month the interest goes down and the amount of principal goes up that you're paying. That's the way a mortgage works. Every month the amount of interest goes down as you pay down that balance. Every month the amount of principal being paid on goes up and up and up until that last payment that you make years from now, almost all of that payment is going to go towards paying down the principal. You won't have much interest because your balance will be so low. So the very simple calculation, now it's even simpler if you want to do this on a yearly basis. All you have to do is take the 1% times the balance to get an idea of how much you'll save every year. If you're going to save 1%, if you're going to lower your rate 1%, equals that times that. $2,600 a year, that's how much you're going to save, at least in the first few years. You know, that's how much you're going to save. Again, you pay less interest in future years, so it won't be $2,600 savings in the second year and the third year, etc. So hopefully that gives you an idea. If you have any questions about this, if any of that doesn't make any sense, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.